I think shorter is better, but I think the exact time frame kind of depends on what the SPIFF is trying to drive. I've seen a lot of quarterly SPIFs for roles who have a short sales cycle or for lead generation or building pipeline. Those are great as quarterly or even shorter. A longer SPIF for a longer sales cycle also makes sense. So we've seen different versions of that at Autodesk. I totally agree, though, they should be really targeted. The broader the SPIF, the less effective it is, in my experience. It almost at that point becomes a component of the comp plan, to Kayla's point. If it's a multiplier across, a certain product and everyone in the sales org is eligible for that and it's all year long, it's not going to be as effective as something that's short term, targeted to a specific sales team. Those tend to work better. The only other thing I would say about SPIFs is they should, and this may be stating the obvious, but they should be an on top of, as opposed to part of the plan itself. It should be something on top of. So that needs to be taken into consideration as in the budgeting and the costing of the SPIF.
At the end of the day, it is also financially tied to the timeline. So it's like the longer the timeline that you're running the SPIF, the bigger of a chunk of money that you need to set aside, which I think we see as a common, downfall when you have long-term SPIFs and you don't allocate enough money, they don't see the results, and then now they're seen as a failure when it's just purely, um, no different than any kind of component. The minimum threshold wasn't met to be enticing enough.
I also think there's a component of eligibility, which is, and this is sometimes a catch-22. Sometimes the most effective SPIFs are, again, targeted not only to a sales team, but for a sales role within that team. So like the primary sellers as opposed to the whole management chain. But sometimes we get into trouble there. Like, why not me? Why am I not eligible for that as the technical overlay or as the manager? And so all of those are trade-offs, right? The more people you include in the SPIF, the more you're diluting the payout for those people who are really affecting it. So those are all trade-offs that have to be considered in the design.